One of the other cheats that we often get asked about, and I told you this dress is going to have a mega outing today, is when the garment actually creates more of a triangle shape for you. So for example, if I was an hourglass, an inverted triangle, or a rectangle body shape, this dress would actually work pretty well. For an hourglass, you'd probably want a little bit more shaping, but for your inverted triangles and your rectangles, it would be great because it is a little bit more of that column dress. But as a triangle shape, this is a little bit challenging because as you can see, it's actually, if you look from here through to here, I'm actually creating more of that triangle shape. The width of this shoulder line here, and sorry, I'm just looking at myself there, the width of the shoulder line here doesn't actually create the same sort of width as it does as my hip line here. So again, this dress is a little problematic. So what can I do to cheat? There are 3 things that I often do to cheat with this dress, where it's creating more of a rectangle shape for me rather than creating an hourglass shape or an inverted triangle shape. So let me show you how. So the first option that I would usually go for is to add some sort of focal point. Just like if you're doing a focal point down the bottom and you're looking to create more of an hourglass or an inverted triangle shape, when something's creating more of a triangular shape, then a focal point like jewellery is a really good starting point. But as you can see, this is actually quite a big piece. So although it doesn't necessarily create width across the shoulder, it does create some width across the bust line here. But I still probably don't feel like it's quite enough. Yes, it can act as a little bit of a distraction from the hip line and create a little bit more detail and a focal point up the top, but I do think the other 2 ways are much more successful at creating an hourglass or an inverted triangle shape out of this dress. So let me show you. So the second thing that I would recommend, and I actually think it's a really wonderful way to create width to balance out the bottom half of a dress or a skirt is creating too much of a triangle shape, and that's a scarf. And because you can drape it in so many different ways that you can create that width across the top half. And generally if it's something sleeveless, then you can often get these sort of summer weight scarves and things like that as well, which maybe don't feel too hot to try out. And especially they're an alternative to a layering piece as well that you can wrap around yourself if it does get a little bit breezy in the evening. So a scarf is a brilliant way to cheat if you need to, instead of doing maybe a necklace or the third item that I'm going to show you. So let's take a look. So the other way to change the shape of a dress that's perhaps creating a triangle shape is to layer it. So I've just chosen a blazer here, but you can do it with a cardigan. Even a long line flowing cardigan can actually do that, because what it would do is create more of a rectangle shape. So if you're a rectangle shape, that's perfect. A cropped cardigan that's a little bit fitted would be perfect to create that hourglass shape. And then obviously a blazer or even a less structured long line blazer will also do the trick in terms of creating either that rectangle shape, or going for something more structured or semi-fitted is going to create that hourglass shape. So they are the 3 little cheats to working with the dress or something that might be creating a little bit more of a triangle shape rather than the 3 others that we're always looking to create.